Hello, we are back after a 7-week hiatus that was supposed to only be 2 weeks and ended up being 7 weeks. This is Echoes of Uncertainty. I am your host, Ubi, and it's February 2025, and we're back in it. Thank you so much for joining, for listening, and my intent is that this will now be a weekly podcast because I have a little bit more time on my hands. And I think that would be really cool. I have a bunch of interesting topics. The world has radically changed since the last episode, I think on December 6th or 7th. I hope everyone had a wonderful holiday season, a great dry January. If you're into that, I personally am not. And here we are. It's February. It is 6 more weeks of winter, according to Puxatawny Phil. And that is not at all what I want to talk about today. All right. So I'm going to change up the format just a smidge going forward. There will be a slight rebranding of Echoes of Uncertainty coming in the next few weeks as I record. All right. We're in it. The last time we spoke about holiday traditions. It was interesting hearing those of you that celebrate Friendsgiving and other different traditions that may exist within your families. And I realize it's February and I'm talking about Thanksgiving. I'm not going to stay here. What I do want to talk about today is burnout. I recently left my job. I was going through inside my head all the different ways to say that I retired. I ended my career. I don't think I ended my career. I paused my career. And the reason was not burnout. However, I think burnout had a large part in the feelings around what I was doing. And I think we're all a little burned out. Maybe you're burned out from parenting. Maybe you're burned out from working out. Maybe you're burned out from dry January. I think there's a lot of things there. And so, are you burned out? Have you felt burnout? Let's talk about it. In future episodes, I'm going to start each episode with what is your uncertainty? So this week's uncertainty is burnout. Like, is burnout real? How do you cure burnout? How do you realize it? What does it feel like to you? For me, I'm exhausted. And I recently, in my other life, posted on LinkedIn saying that corporate employees wear burnout as a badge of honor. And so I'm curious, is that true? Do you find that to be true in your life? Maybe you're not a corporate employee, maybe you're another type of any type of employee. But do you wear your burnout as a guise for hard work? As a, if I just hit this next milestone, I will get that promotion, that title change, a little bit more money, or maybe a lot more money. I don't know. But I want to hear about it. And so for me, burnout equals just exhaustion. I want to sleep. I get up in the morning and I want to go back to bed. Maybe that's more of a commentary on my sleep quality than burnout. But as I am pausing from my my career, really focusing on rest and healing burnout, these are the things I'm feeling. And so I think, how do you recognize burnout? Oh my gosh, I need to stop saying burnout. How do you recognize this? Again, for me personally, it manifested in I did not want to work. I did not want to go to work. When I got to work, I really felt like it's time for me to leave. And I say all of this knowing that former coworkers may be listening to this and be like, oh, that makes a lot of sense. However, I think coming off of sabbatical and then going back to work, whether this was burnout or maybe this was realizing just how much my time is worth and what I want to spend my time doing. And I want to pose the question, what is the most valuable currency? Is it money or is it time? And maybe there's other things. Maybe it's love, maybe it's family. But what, when you look at your life, is your most valuable currency? For me today, it's time. And I want to spend my time, well, I want to spend my time helping humanity. How I'm helping humanity, TBD. Still figuring that out. But I also want to spend my time with my family, with my loved ones, with my friends. I want to spend time becoming the best version of Ubi that I can be. And so currently what that looks like is getting healthy on a like truly cellular level. I have posed a challenge to myself to really focus on my sleep quality. And again, if you're listening to this and you're like, Ubi, I have 3 kids. I have a newborn. There's just no way. I, I'm, I'm just sharing where I am at. I think, oh, yes. Okay. It's all coming to me now. I think there's a max and there's a min that you can do each day. Right now, I am in what I'm calling my max. I am prioritizing my sleep and my fitness and my overall internal well being. But I know a day is going to come where I only have a min. And so for a min, that might be 5 hours of sleep, maybe, and not even good sleep. That might be instead of getting to go to the gym for an hour or so, 10 air squats in my bathroom while I'm brushing my teeth. I think finding your max and your min, and maybe I've talked about this before. I'm going to have to go back in my show notes. And if I have, I apologize. I just think this theory is really important to keeping your habits real. Okay. Now, what does this have to do with burnout? Well, let me bring it all together. I think my life is going to look very different when I don't feel the burnout. And every day it's a little bit less. And every day I'm definitely not sleeping better. That's something we're going to work on. Nor am I going to the gym. But I'm finding these micro habits, these micro ways to not feel the exhaustion of a decade in corporate America inflicted. And so, whether it's posing a challenge or posing a question, how can you create those micro habits, those slight changes to battle your burnout? And if you don't have burnout and you're just listening to this, kudos to you. And what have you done in your life to combat burnout? And I think this is all part of like my meta theme of finding found is while you're searching for found, you're going to go through burnout, you're going to deal with family, you're going to battle rest, and a bunch of other things that I'm going to talk about in the future. And I will be having guests on the podcast soon. I have lots of little things in the works and I'm super excited. I also will be recording from a couple different locations, which I'm also super excited about. And yeah. And then looking at my notes, just a couple ending thoughts as it's my first show back. Naturally, it's a hair chaotic as I get all of this out and get used to recording again. But burnout, a few departing thoughts. Does burnout happen among certain genders more, certain ethnicities, certain job families, or do we think burnout is universal? It's funny, I have a note here. It's like, I don't know if I should go there, but I went there because I want your opinion and I want to hear others' experiences. And then, oh, yeah. Do you feel, if you do experience burnout, specifically in the workplace, that you're punished for it? And especially if you express it or if you combat it by taking time for yourself or whatever you need to do you find that there are repercussions there? And lastly, say yes to rest. Even if rest is playing Candy Crush on your couch for 30 minutes before you record a podcast, say yes to rest. Oh boy. Well, I'll tell you what, dear gentle listeners, I'm very excited to be back. I apologize for my long hiatus, and I'm looking forward to talking every week with you all, you folks. Um, Small plugs for future things. I will be having merch coming, and basically, you can click on my fun little merch and support my sweet little podcasts. Uh, Specifically, merch around things like Say Yes to Rest, Finding Found, and other little Ubi isms that have appeared so far on the podcast. And so all that will be coming soon, as I relaunch, whatever you want to call Echoes of Uncertainty. Yeah. All right. Well, this has been Echoes of Uncertainty. I'm Ubi, and we will talk next week. Thank you. Echoes of Uncertainty is a production of Thrive 35 EP. This is Weekly Podcast by UB. This is episode 4, Burnout.